He's boorish, he's pompous, he's arrogant, he's unself-aware, he's a bully, he's incredibly stupid. He has no sense of identity apart from his own status as a royal. I mean, even until literally last Thursday, he couldn't understand what the fuss was about. He had no sense of remorse. He's a narcissist.
But by the time a wide-eyed Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor was slumped in the back of a Range Rover, the reality had hit home.
I think it did hit him finally on Thursday, just the seriousness of the situation he's in.
Breaking news on the former Prince Andrew.
Thames Valley Police say that Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has been arrested.
The BBC understands that he has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office.
Now, as the world reels from Andrew's arrest and the royals scramble to protect themselves from one of the biggest crises the palace has ever faced, a warning from a royal biographer: Charles could go down too.
How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein?
With this new headline, email proves Charles was warned about Andrew's secret deals. It's now not inconceivable that the king may fall.
Your Majesty, how are you feeling after your brother's arrest? Have you spoken to your brother, Your Majesty?
I'm Nicole Johnston, and you're listening to 7am. Today, royal historian Andrew Lownie on what's next for the former prince, and could the king be forced to abdicate the throne? It's Tuesday, February 24. Andrew, it's a few days since the UK and the world was rocked by the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. Has the shock worn off for you and for the country? And how is the mood in the UK now? Because I imagine that it's all anybody's talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's not shock. I mean, I think in some ways people wanted this to happen and they're relieved it's happened. This shows that there's not one law for the royals and one's for others. They're just absolutely transfixed by the new revelations. I mean, today, there are revelations that the king was aware of the problems with Andrew going back to 2019 and seems to have ignored them. So the wagons, though they've circled and trying to protect the king, he's now being drawn into the story.
Let me state clearly, the king has said, the law must take its course. As this process continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on this matter. An extraordinary statement from the king.
There's been a lot of stuff, for example, about how his police protection officers were actually, in effect, working for Epstein. There were bouncers on the door in Manhattan. So there are new disclosures almost every day. The royal family are on the back foot. They've lost control of the narrative. And it's actually really serious. I mean, we have a possibility that Charles will have to abdicate, I think, if he's found to be complicit in protecting his brother. This is a story about financial corruption at the heart of the royal family, abetted by the Queen. I was vilified when I said that the Queen was involved in protecting her son. Now they're kind of throwing her to the wolves. She's dead, and she's been blamed for not dealing with the problem while she was alive. The calls for a parliamentary inquiry. An MP today has said that Andrew's committed treason. It's really bad news, I have to say.
What makes you think, though, that it could actually lead to the abdication of King Charles? Because that seems as though it would put it on an entirely new level.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're trying to protect Charles. They're trying to keep the damage a limitation just to Andrew. But if the facts show that the palace knew about this, Charles knew about it, and did nothing, had protected somebody who consorted with paedophiles, slept with underage girls, was taking bribes, was giving away secret information, including not just commercially sensitive information, but military and political secrets, and he was protected by the king, people are not going to accept that. They're going to say he goes as well. And we're getting close to that stage. People feel William's hands seem to be clean, and there's a sense that, the old guard have let everyone down. The monarchy only depends on trust, and that trust has gone.
A lot of this, of course, Andrew denies. But you wrote about the relationship between Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein in your book. Could you tell us what they both got out of it? Who was more powerful? And what was Andrew even thinking when he continued that friendship, even after Epstein had been convicted of sex trafficking?
Well, the relationship was just I described as between a rattlesnake and a mouse. Epstein ate Andrew alive. Andrew gave Epstein credibility, kudos, access to the royal family, a respectability. And Andrew got from Epstein a ready supply of young girls, someone to pay Fergie's bills, and again, some useful contacts. All these relationships are transactional. He was making sure that Fergie's debts could be paid or restructured, and Epstein helped him.
I'm at your service. Just marry me. This is just one of the exchanges that Sky News believes that Sarah Ferguson had with the disgraced paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
And just briefly, this doesn't reflect well on Fergie either, does it?
No, I mean, she's absolutely finished. There she is, supporting children's charities, sex-trafficked women, writing children's books, and she's busy consorting with a paedophile, bringing her kids to meet him, introducing her godchild in her 20s to Epstein, saying that Epstein's like the brother she never had. She wants to marry him. She wants to work for him, pleading for money, £20,000 here, $150,000 there. She comes across as a complete grifter, which is what I knew. But, the reputation she had, I think particularly in Australia, she was this ditzy Sloane Ranger, a bit foolish, but actually at heart a pretty nice person. And actually she's now seen as a very cynical hypocrite who manipulated the royal family, played with her staff, has now abandoned the husband that she claimed to stand by. Now he's no longer a prince and in the Royal Lodge. You suddenly realise this is the world of Thackeray's Vanity Fair.
It's understood that the government will consider introducing legislation to remove Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor from the line of succession.
So for now, Andrew's still 8th in line for the throne. And as you told us, there are these reports that the government is considering introducing legislation to remove him from that royal line of succession. Do you think that is likely? And is it also the right thing to do?
Well, I mean, there's stories that there is an attempt to introduce the legislation. Edward VIII was actually able to abdicate in an afternoon. That's because he agreed to go. So if Andrew agreed to go, there would be no need for a parliamentary debate. Things could just be sorted. What the royal family doesn't want is a big debate about royal accountability and privilege. They want to shut this story down. I personally think that getting rid of him from the line of succession is a waste of parliamentary time. It's an irrelevance. He's never going to take the throne. He's never going to be a Councillor of State. Keep focusing on two things: accountability of the royal family and getting justice for the victims by holding Andrew to account for what he's done.
Coming up, is this the monarchy's MeToo moment? Andrew, the King and Prince William, they've been praised for how they've handled it so far. They're continuing with their public duties, though they have been getting some blowback from it. It seems there is a real sense of keep calm and carry on. But how much damage is this doing to the royal family and its future, even though they are trying to somehow insulate themselves from it?
Well, huge damage. I think there was a poll the other day saying that 79% of people in their 20s are basically think the monarchy should go.
The monarchy? Well, it's not having a very good time at the moment, is it?
Young people are interested in the values of fairness and in the values of representation. Whatever way you slice it, the monarchy is neither a fair nor a representative institution.
Approval rates for the monarchy in general have fallen. I don't think that the feeling is that the king has handled this well. He's lost control of the narrative. He's running to catch up. William is better. People feel that he has wanted to deal with this, but been frustrated by his father's reluctance to really address the subject.
Now, it's pretty well known that Andrew was the late Queen's favourite child, and she did a lot to protect him, even paying a reported £12 million settlement in the civil case with Virginia Giuffre. Why did she have such a soft spot for him? And did she do too much in the end, to the extent that it's obviously ended up with the royal family now in total crisis?
Yeah, well, she passed this bomb to Charles. I mean, I think to a certain extent he has to take responsibility too, because he was, in effect, reigning with her for the last few years of her life. He's been on the throne the last 4 years. But yeah, she was blind to his faults. She didn't want to know, put her head in the sand. No one felt that they could really address this problem. And so he's able to get away with it. He would run to mummy complaining about people, and instead of her giving him a hard time, she would give the person giving Andrew a hard time. But the royal family could have dealt with this for years. I mean, they've known about his behaviour. I had lunch yesterday with someone who knew him as a teenager and was telling me about exactly this sort of behaviour. And Charles or Edward screaming at him, about, behaving properly and not behaving in the way he was. So this isn't going to be new to them. But I think where they've been caught out is they didn't expect this Epstein dump of material. They thought they got away with it. And to a large extent, they had. I mean, even my book coming out in August didn't lead to calls for investigations or any real criticism of the royal family. It's only really this last few weeks that it's become really untenable for them not to do something. Same with the police, same with the government. The government have tried to shut the story down. Ambassadors were told not to speak to me. The files are still closed till 2065. Everyone has tried to suppress this story. I saw it when I did my book on Edward VIII and his associations with the Nazis. They destroyed files, they briefed against the press. Same thing.
In your book, you quoted a royal source as saying that Charles thought Andrew's trade envoy job was always a disaster waiting to happen. Now he's been arrested with allegedly sharing confidential commercial information with Epstein. And as you were telling us, there are other investigations into him underway. So could this just be the tip of the iceberg?
Yes, it is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we may well have the sex trafficking allegations lead to charges. I mean, there's a lot of material in the Epstein revelations about that. I think they're just trying to find the girls to interview them, see if they will give testimony. There is, I think more material under misconduct in public office. But the sex trafficking, there are, I think, 11 police forces looking at various allegations. So they have to make sure they get this right. But there's a lot riding on it. I think people feel that the royals have been protected and that, justice now needs to be seen to be done.
Andrew, looking forward, despite this huge crisis that's underway at the moment and the legitimacy of the monarchy being questioned, do you think that the younger batch of royals, William and Kate, that they can eventually right the ship again? Or is it going to be pretty tough?
No, I hope they can. I mean, I think they're very popular. I mean, the rest of the royal family are very popular. I mean, so it's just these two rogue royals. And so they need to cauterize this, get Sarah and Ferguson and Andrew kind of distanced from the royals. But I think the one person who's vulnerable in this is King Charles. If Charles is implicated, then I think he will have to be the sacrificial lamb. And there will be the sense we clean out the stables, we move to a completely new regime, we move to a more transparent monarchy, more on the European model. And this is the sort of MeToo moment for the monarchy for change. I just don't think it's tenable for them now to operate in the way they used to, never complain, never explain, hope the problem goes away, work on some trusted correspondence to leak stories. It's just not going to work in a less deferential society and with social media pressures.
Andrew, it's been fascinating to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
Also in the news, this week the Royal Commissioner looking into anti-Semitism and social cohesion in the wake of the Bondi attack will visit the scene of the massacre. Virginia Bell is set to meet with survivors and relatives of those who died. The former High Court judge will give an opening statement today, outlining how the inquiry will operate. And humanitarian organisation Save the Children says the coalition's proposal to make it illegal to help the so-called ISIS brides and their kids return to Australia is extraordinary. CEO Matt Tinkler says no Australian child should be left stranded, calling on politicians to dial down the rhetoric and show some compassion for vulnerable children. I'm Nicole Johnston. This is 7am. Thanks for listening.